Good afternoon, class. So, new topic tayo ngayon about arch and cable structure. So, we will go straight to problem solving. So, that is at 4.4. Yeah, okay. So, determine the reaction components for the three-hinged arch shown in figure 4.12. The supports A and B are at the same elevation. So this is very similar to the procedures dun sa shear end moment. Okay? So, meron din siyang hinge sa gitna. So, step 1, probably, you take the whole body as a free body diagram, tapos i-isolate mo si AC, and then i-isolate CB as separate free body diagrams. Okay, so, ang solution mo dito, or the aim here is to simply get the reactions, no? So vertical reactions at A, horizontal reactions at A, vertical and horizontal reactions at B, since points A and B are pinned support. Always remember na kapag arch structure, ang kanyang supports ay laging pinned at meron kang hinge usually sa gitna, sa taas. Also, ang arch structure, that is mainly a compression member. Unlike sa cable, ang cable naman, tension member siya. Okay, so let's solve. You take the entire structure as free body. Summation moment at B, so dito siya nag-moment sa B, is equal to 0. And then, 60 times VA. Saan ang galing yung 60? That is the distance from point B. So, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay? So, ayan. 60 times VA minus 40 times 40. And then, minus 40 dahil counterclockwise ang direction niyan. Ano? And then, minus 55 times 20 minus 30 times 10 is equal to 0. So from this equation, notice na isa lang ang unknown. So VA here is 50 kN. Next, summation moment at A equal to 0. So 60 times VB plus 40 times 20 plus 55 times 40 plus 30 times 50 is equal to 0. So from here, you can solve now V sub B is equal to 75. You can even not take moments anymore at A. You simply do summation forces vertical. You can simply solve for reaction vertical at B. And then summation forces horizontal is equal to 0. Notice that there are no vertical forces. Okay? Pero, pin support siya on both ends. So, horizontal support at A equals horizontal support at B. And now, let's take segment AC as free body. Or this is figure 4.14a. Ito siya. So, you take moments at C, and then we have negative 15H sub A. Yung negative 15 na yan yung perpendicular distance dun sa direction ng HA to point C. Okay? Ayan yung taas. This is 15. Okay? And then, negative dahil counterclockwise. Likewise, 40 minus Likewise, we have negative 40 times 10, and then negative 15 times H sub A. Negative 15, yan yung lever arm. Ito siya. Tapos, plus 50 times 30. Yung 50, yan yung V sub A, no? And then, you have 30 the lever arm. Ito, from point C. and then negative 40 times 10. Negative 40 dahil it will give you a counterclockwise direction equal to 0. So from there, h sub a is 73.33. So from equation summation forces horizontal, from here alone, you can already solve your h sub c, which is also equal to 73.33. And then still at segment AC, no? Summation forces vertical is equal to 0. 50 minus 40 is equal to VC. Ano yung mga vertical forces na yan? So we have the reaction VA and then the vertical load 40 tsaka yung VC. Take note na VC is hinge support. Okay? So it is equal to 0. Or, in short, VC now is equal to 10. Ngayon, yung hinge support na yan sa segment AC, matra-transfer yan sa segment CB. But this time, in opposite direction. So, segment CB as free body now, taking moments at C, 15 times HB. Okay, yung 15 yan, yung lever arm nung H sub B, it will cause a clockwise direction, kaya positive siya. Minus 75 times 30. 75 minus, dahil yung reaction V sub B, counterclockwise. And then plus 55 times 10, and then plus 30 times 20 is equal to 0. So from here, this is also this can also be used as a check. Okay? Since na-solve na natin si H sub B, okay? Take note that H sub A is equal to H sub B. Dito, summation forces horizontal, okay? H sub A is equal to H sub B. So, 73.33. So, summation moment C can also be used as a check. Now, let's go to problem 4.5. Dito naman, magkakaroon tayo ng change in elevation ng supports. Okay, so determine the reaction components for the 3-hinge arch shown. Support B is 5 meters below support A. So initially, take the entire structure as free body. So, ibig sabihin, you consider the whole structure from point A to point B or from point B to point A. So let's take moment at point B. Now, this time, since magkaiba sila ng elevation, dalawa ang i-consider mo dito sa reaction at A. You have the vertical reaction and the horizontal reaction at A. Okay, so we have here 60 times VA, positive siya dahil clockwise direction, taking moments at B, ano? Yung 60, yan yung distance, 30 plus 30, okay? Dahil meron kang VA. VA is the vertical reaction at A. And then, 5H sub A. Yung H sub A is, ito, horizontal at A. Its lever arm is 5 meters. Okay, ayan. From HA to point B, you have a distance of 5. And then, minus 40 times 40, minus 55 times 20, minus 30 times 10 is equal to 0. Ito ngayon yung mga loads. So, from here, dalawa na kaagad ang unknowns mo. H sub A and V sub A. Next is, nag-take moments naman siya ngayon sa point A. This time, it is still the whole body as free body diagram. So, taking moments at point A, 60 times V sub B, negative, dahil counter, and then plus 5H sub B. Yung 5 yan, ulit yung lever arm ni H sub B. And then plus 40 times 20 plus 55 times 40 plus 30 times 50 is equal to 0. And then take note again that you have two unknowns, vertical B and horizontal at B. Okay. Paano nakuha yung mga equations na yan? You just simplify this moment equations. Okay? Now let's take segment AC as free body. Okay? So summation moment at C is equal to 0. This time you have H sub A times the lever arm na 10. Yan. Okay? Negative dahil counterclockwise. And then V sub A times lever arm na 30. That is plus kasi clockwise siya. Ito, no? And then ang load mo isa lang yung 40 lang times 10. And then it is minus is equal to 0. And then you simplify this equation, you have 3 times VA minus HA is equal to 40. Notice that this is VA and HA. Pagbalik mo dito sa unang equation, this is 12VA plus HA. You can now solve 2 equations, 2 unknowns. You can now have VA is equal to 42.67. And then back substitute, you have H sub A equal to 88 kilonewton. And then still at segment AC, summation forces horizontal is equal to 0. Ang horizontal forces dito, you have H sub A and then H sub C. But since we have solved H sub A, so you can now solve for H sub C. Equal lang sila but opposite in direction. Ayan, no? And then still at segment AC, summation forces vertical is equal to 0. From here, you can easily solve V sub A. Okay? So, V sub A minus 40 minus VC is equal to 0. And then, VC is equal to V sub A minus 40 is equal to 2.67. Saan nanggaling si V sub A? Ito siya. Okay? Now, let's go to segment CB. Ito siya. Summation moment at C is equal to 0. Dito tayo ngayon magte-take moment. So, we have minus 30 times VB minus dahil si V sub B counterclockwise and 30 is the lever arm plus 15 times HB. 15 is the lever arm of H sub B. And then positive dahil HB will cause a clockwise rotation and then plus 55 times 10 plus 30 times 20 is equal to 0. So you simplify this, you have 6VB minus 3HB is equal to 230. And then notice na dito sa previous equations, meron na tayong 12VB minus H sub B is equal to 900. So, from segment CB as free body, you combine these two equations, take two equations, two unknowns, you can easily solve because this is a linear equation. And then, you can now have V sub B is 82.33 and then H sub B is simply 88. Let's try solving equations 2 and 5. So, equation 2, ito yan, 12VB minus HB is equal to 900. And then, we have here equation 5, 6VB minus 3HB is equal to 230. Which is, eto na siya. Okay? So, take this as equation 2 and then equation 5. From equation 2, HB is equal to 12VB minus 900. Yung HB, transpose ko lang sa kabila para maging positive. Tapos yung 900, nilipat ko dito sa kabila para maging negative. So, meron na tayong HB is equal to something. Now, you substitute HB to equation 5. So, equation 5 now becomes 6VB minus 3 times the quantity, ito, which is HB, 12VB minus 900 is equal to 230. So this becomes 6VB minus 36VB plus 2700 is equal to 230. And then you combine like terms, V sub B times the quantity 6 minus 36 is equal to 230 minus 2700. So you simplify, V sub B now becomes negative 2470 over negative 30 will give you 82.33. And then you substitute V sub B sa equation 2. So 12 times V sub B, which is this, minus HB is equal to 900. So in here, you only have one unknown, which is H sub B. You now have 88. Okay? So, yan ang procedure paano nakuha yung V sub B tsaka H sub B. Now, let's have problem 4.8, which is very similar to problem 4.5. Meron silang difference in elevation, tapos meron silang mga vertical loads. However, dito sa segment CB, meron siyang uniform load. So, all you have to do here is to convert this uniform load into concentrated load and then locate its and then find its location. It is obviously at 10 meters and at 20 meters from B. Taking the entire structure as free body, nag-take moment siya sa point B. And then we have here 85 times V sub A. 85 is the lever arm of V sub A, okay? V sub A is the vertical reaction at A, and then H sub A is the horizontal at A. Plus 10 times H sub A. Yang 10 is the lever arm of horizontal reaction at A. So 20 minus 10 would give you 10, okay? Minus 30 times 70. 70 is the lever arm ng 30, minus 50 times 55, minus 5 times 40 times 20. Okay, etong 5, yan yung uniform load, and then 40, yan yung distance, and then 20 is the lever arm nung centroid nung uniform load is equal to 0. And then you simplify, we have 17VA plus 2HA is equal to 1770. And then, let's take moments at A. So, remember na kapag meron kang change in elevation, laging two unknowns kaagad, ano? VA and then H sub A. So, summation moment at A is equal to 0. And then, 85 times V sub B plus 10 times H sub B. Okay, remember na meron tayong horizontal reaction here at B, which is HB, vertical reaction at B is V sub B. Plus 50 times 30 plus 5 times 40 times 65. Okay, yung 65 ngayon, yan yung lever arm ng concentrated load. Okay, so that is 45 plus 20 will give you 65. So, from here you have 17 VB minus 2 HB. You cannot combine these two equations, okay? Dahil magkakaibang kanilang unknowns. And then summation forces horizontal, H sub A is equal to H sub B. Summation forces vertical, VA plus VB is equal to 280. Yang 280 na yan, yan yung mga loads, downward loads, 30 plus 50 plus 5 times 40. Yan yung 280. Okay? And then, segment AC as free body. Kapag sa segment ka nag-free body, always take moments at the hinge. Okay? Dahil sa hinge, 0 ang iyong moment. So, 45 times VA minus 10 HA minus 30 times 30 minus 50 times 15 is equal to 0. So, 9VA minus 2HA is equal to 330. So, this is now equation 5. But, in equation 1, ito, 17VA plus 2HA, you can now combine equation 5 and equation 1. You can solve for VA and H sub A. And then, summation forces vertical is equal to 0. VA minus 30 minus 50 minus VC is equal to 0. So from here, VC is equal to VA minus 8 is equal to 0.77. Take note na yung VA nanggaling yan dito. Okay? And then summation forces horizontal, you have H sub A minus H sub C is equal to 0. So what is H sub A? 198.46. That is equal to H sub C. Now let's take CB as free body diagram. Summation moment C is equal to 0. Negative 40 times VB. VB is the vertical reaction at point B, and then plus 20 times H sub B. 20 dahil yan ang lever arm ni horizontal reaction at B, plus 5 times 40 times 20. Yan yung converted concentrated load nitong 5 kilonewton per meter na uniform load. So from this, you have 2VB minus HB is equal to 200. Yan yung simplified equation. So this now is equation 6. And then you can combine this with equation 2. Ito, no? Dahil meron siyang VB tsaka H sub B. So solving equations 2 and 6, you now have V sub B 199.23 and 198.46. And then summation forces vertical is equal to 0. VC plus VB is equal to 5 times 40. And then still at segment CB, summation forces vertical is equal to 0. So dito sa segment CB, ang vertical forces lang, you have the 5 kilonewton per meter uniform load and the vertical reaction at B. Okay? Also, you have the vertical reaction at point C. So, VC, ayan, plus VB is equal to the vertical load, 5 times 40. Okay, so VC is equal to 200 minus 199.23. Saan nanggaling yung 199.23 na yan? That is your VB here, okay? So you can now solve for VC, which is 0.77 kilonewton. Now let's go to problem 4.9. Dito meron tayong 3-hinge arch. So ang goal mo dito, hanapin ulit yung reactions. So we have vertical at A, horizontal at A, vertical at B, and horizontal at B. But this time we have uniform loads which are applied normal to the member. Normal means perpendicular to the member. So merong wind dito, ano? Ang wind is pressure. Tapos pressure din siya dito sa windward side, and then sa leeward side naman, ibig sabihin ng leeward, yung wind paalis na, no? Meron tayong suction. So, you have to convert these uniform loads into concentrated loads. So, that is applying superposition. So, meron kang 42.72, pero i-convert mo pa rin yan sa equivalent na vertical and horizontal components. Okay, so i-convert natin tong 1 kilonewton sa kanyang 40 and 15 kilonewton. So let's look at this concentrated load na 42.72. Yan ay yung equivalent concentrated load nitong suction. Okay, so kunin natin yung length nitong member na yan. So taken from the right triangle, ito siya. So this is 40, yung length na yan. And then yung height na 15, ito siya. The hypotenuse or the length of the top chord is 42.72 meters. So you multiply that by the uniform load 1 kilonewton per meter will give you 42.72 kilonewton. And then you convert that to its equivalent horizontal and vertical component. Okay? Ngayon, napapansin nyo na merong triangle dito na 3/8 square root of 73, which is this. Nanggaling yan dito sa 15 and 40. Ang common denominator nitong dalawang numbers na yan ay 5. So, 15 divided by 5 will give you 3. 40 divided by 5 will give you 8. So, ang square root, sum ng square ng dalawa is square root 73. And then, from trigonometry, sine of theta is opposite all over hypotenuse. Ayan, 3 all over 73. Likewise, sine of theta taken from this triangle is equal to f sub h all over the hypotenuse or the resultant 42.72. Take note na yung theta na yan is the same as this angle theta. Okay, so from this, you can solve for f sub h, which is equal to 15. Likewise, cosine of theta is equal to 8 all over square root of 73. Likewise, from this fourth triangle, cosine of theta is equal to fb all over resultant force na 42.78. By cross multiplication, f sub b is simply 8 times 42.78 divided by square root of 73 will give you 40 kilonewton. Yan yung procedure kung paano nakuha yung 15 and 40. Likewise, ganun din, paano nakuha yung 80 tsaka yung 30. Notice na yung windward pressure is twice of the suction pressure. So you simply multiply this uniform load 1 by 2, magiging 30 yan, and then this will become 80. So since na-simplify na natin yung mga loads into vertical and horizontal, we can now take the entire as free body and then solve for segments AC and then solve for segments CB. Okay? So, common procedures na yan. And these are your reactions. So, that's it for arches.